Aho. Hi, everybody. Welcome to your May. I hope you have had a wonderful month. We're almost done with May, believe it or not. It's crazy, super crazy, crazier than me, yeah? Um, so, usually, when I do energy healing, especially for someone, um, privately, before I do anything, I kind of ask the spirits, my helping spirits, which is part of my beliefs. I ask them to assist me because I don't know everything, I know nothing actually. And that is for me the best way to do this. I don't know anything. The energy knows everything in addition to my helping spirits. So generally, before a healing, I will open um, you know, sort of without scaring people. I know I have varying degrees of beliefs, as far as people who watch me, so I try to be really non-denominational and not too freaky with my wording. But the truth is, it's sort of like you know, journeying or going through opening a different portal uh, or dimension or communicating that way, putting my light on, as I had talked about last month, which perhaps I will talk about. I had a few people ask me more questions about that, but I'm afraid I might go way over if I talk about all these things at once. But what I wanted to share was that that's kind of what I do. um, for a lot of circumstances. That's part of my belief system, what I do, what floats my boat, and everyone is different. This is shamanism, shamanism. I don't know why it went so slow like that, but anyway, it's, shamanism. I need coffee, that's why. Um, this is what we do. And I absolutely love it. And it'll be interesting to see how people feel with that energy. I always do something different, and I have been saying this for years. You guys are my absolutely brilliant, gorgeous guinea pigs, and I hate to use that word, like it sounds yuck a little bit, but I mean that with love, that I could do different things and have an audience to do that with, for lack of a better word. So anyway, um, that was a little tiny ceremony. This is where I open my Viracocha, which is my eighth chakra. Um, in shamanism, we have nine, uh, Hinduism, etc. But in shamanism, particularly, our eighth chakra is the Viracocha, and this is when we enter timelessness. you know. Um, it's great for journeying, healing, and so on. So that's what I did. I thought I would explain that and share that with you just a little bit, and this is my way of putting my light on too, and it feels good. It's a lovely space to be in, and if you can sit, this is your own energy, and it's your own energy without the physical download. It's who you are before you're incarnated into the earth, you know, and it never changes. So it's a beautiful thing to share and be a part of, um, even though it is you. To bring that forth is a lovely, lovely experience. So there's that. Um, I always try to come on here without specifics in mind. But like I said earlier, I know I had quite a few people that were asking, and this kind of ties in with this whole timelessness and kind of creating a space and calling on portals, you know, people identify, as I was talking about, how our eighth chakra is no identity, uh, people identify with certain terms, especially if it separates us and makes us seemingly more special than the other. Um, and I say this with love, and I don't say this with judgment. It's very difficult sometimes to convey something that I feel is important, but at the same time, not hurt anyone's feelings. Good luck there, my friends, right? But, you know, um, when I have my light on, which I do right now, I allow spirit to just have their way with me. And with that, we do have to say some things that could hurt someone. But, in the end, when something hurts us to a degree that it's not just that one sting, we all get those sorts of things, but it's like to the degree that it's, hours, days, sometimes weeks, that it just keeps coming back to us. Um, this is your spirit saying, we need to look at this. We need to know why. Never mind what that person said or did, you know, and it might have been wrong. You may have been wronged to some degree, but a lot of times people are not even thinking. They're just doing. They're on automatic and it has nothing to do with you, but regardless, the point is, if you're being affected in such a way that something that I'm saying or something someone else is saying is affecting you, why is that so? It's like if I called you a pumpkin, would that bother you? Probably not. You know why? You know you're not a pumpkin. Yeah. It's not going to be, you know, um, some kind of hot topic. Not generally. I mean, there might be people out here that could get triggered by that word. I don't know. I'm just saying in general, um, usually not offended by something that a piece of you deep inside isn't believing about themselves, So we could say to ourselves, what is it that I believe right now about myself? You know, why am I feeling that way about this person that said this or that? So when it comes to empaths, as I was saying, you know me, I'm long-winded and I go on tangents, but here we are. Um, when we identify with things like this to the point that we're it's almost like we're a martyr or we're superior. Oh, we're so sensitive that we just weren't made for this world. Um, First of all, if we weren't meant for this world, we would not be here. Each and every one of us has either chosen or been predestined, or there's many theories about it, but you're here, and it's not a mistake that you're here. That's unfortunate for people to believe that they don't belong here. You know, that is really sad. And we have so much divisiveness across the board. Period. Full stop. In terms of everything, not just spirituality, but when we tack on that with being spiritual, that we also have this separation of I'm more sensitive, I'm more special, I'm a galactic star ghostbuster, and I don't say this to insult people. I'm just kind of bringing it all in here, and it's like, quite frankly, we're all unique, and it's so cliche, but again, it's a cliche because it's true, probably, you know. Um, I happen to be what one would consider an HSP, highly sensitive person. I could be, and on top of, I mean, I have enough problems, I don't need more, HSP and empathic and all this other stuff. I could get all these labels, and they are true, but I'm not going to identify myself with such things as an excuse not to engage, you know. Um, and this is the part, don't throw shoes at me, but like a lot of people, they're like, I can't go to the grocery store, I can't go to the mall, I can't go in crowds. And um, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's just like all these other things that have been placed upon us, um, these seeds of belief. Someone somewhere back in spirituality, they wrote a book 50 years ago and they talked about, excuse me, they talked about that. They said they were so sensitive. And then what happens is we have this echoing effect that constantly occurs. Once we read something, we repeat it. It's someone's opinion, yet it's written. So now, everybody's on board, and me too, same thing. Yes, same, 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 because we all want to identify and be different. And you are different by default. You don't have to try to be different. You don't have to take on other people's ideas of different. Um, and I understand I'm kind of beating this to death, beating up the beat, right? But um, that's the hard part here because we can control it. And people are, I had a few people, they have issues. They say, how do I turn the switch on or off? And the switch is hardly the point. That's just one way. That's my way of turning, telling spirit that it's time to convey, receive, and so on. And your signal may be different. It might be when you eat a grape, it's time for spirit. What it is about is having something, a routine that you become familiar with. It's a discipline, it's like exercise, let's say. Hmm? Well, how do I turn exercise on and off? How do I do exercise and then stop doing exercise? I make that choice. Now, how do you do that? Do you go on YouTube? That's your way of turning on exercise. And then when you're done and you're laying on the floor all sweaty, such as myself, you crawl and you turn off YouTube. But I'm silly. I'm always silly, you know. But anyway, that's how you do it. You develop a system for yourself that works. What is your symbol for being available for spirit? And this is the thing. And I'm sorry, it seems we're going to run a little long on this one, but bear with me if you're interested. You know, um, hang on. It's a little early for Mama here. And no, I'm not a mother. Um, in fact, that's the funny. People always think I'm like in my 20s. It's hilarious, and it's also probably more apparent in even in person, and it's just crazy what people assume and how much mansplaining I get, because they think that I'm so young, I need to be guided and nurtured, or maybe that's just how men are, with when they would like to court you or something. I don't know. That's a side note, but it's hilarious to me because I'm not in my 20s. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, and God forbid I edit this, I won't. You'll hear everything just as it is, you know. That's the other part of this. I refuse to come on here and do anything that's not organic, you know. And when I do like this work in ceremony, I don't have makeup, I don't have fancy clothes. And the reason I do that is out of respect. I'm a hollow bone. I'm not here to go, look at me, look how hot I am, look how whatever, you know. So that explains that too. Um, but anyway, with all this being said, I will try to focus. Um, you have to develop what works for you, and spirit will listen to you. You know, if you have all these energies coming at you, seemingly, and you're feeling everybody's stuff, you have to determine how to stop that. You can burn sage, you know, because that's a good seed that's been planted. That sage burns, you know, bad energy, bad spirits. Palo Santo is probably my choice, you know. But see, that's all seeds too. These are all old wives' tales. Every bit of this stuff, every bit, every single bit is all like handed down. Well, this works and that works and this works. And the truth is, it doesn't work if it doesn't work, right? I always say what works for you. All right. In shamanism, and I'll say this, it's always my hill to die on. It's, is it working for you? If it's not, why are you sticking to that belief? So is being empathic and so special and identifying with it worth it? You know, that you get to say, oh, I can't go there because I can't handle the energy. Is that fair? Is that limiting? Yes, it's very much limiting. So how do you stop that? You figure that out for yourself. That you can do research, you can ask other people, but at the end of the day, what works for you? You know, I can give you hints and hints on top of hints, and I have, you know, uh, but ultimately, I'm not you. I don't think like you. I don't have the same uh, chemistry as you, even, you know. So just think about even parenting yourself or reparenting or parenting the spirits. You know, some people say use your mom voice and go, no, you know, it's up to you. Me, I turn my light on, and as I said, it's a signal. And it's as simple as just turning the switch on. Okay, on, off. You know, there are days where I'm more challenged than others because, you know, when you have stuff going on emotionally, and even, you know, physically, you know, stress and work and so on and so forth, it's a little bit harder sometimes to turn off the switch. I'm not saying this is easy, and you have to practice just like anything else, you know. Uh, so I hope that helps you. I know that you guys were probably looking for a more clear-cut answer, but as a shaman, you know, we don't tell people what to do. We want people to be empowered. We want people to realize that everything they need is right inside themselves. Um, and we're guides, you know, and it's not an excuse not to give you the wisdom, because when it's really warranted, it will come, you know. So at this point, Spirit wants me to just say that, and I hope that it's received with love because that's what it's intended from my end and my helping Spirit's end. Um, I am sorry. I hope I didn't go on too much and do too much tangenting. That's not a word, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Probably. I mean, there's so much all the time, but I surely hope that you are enjoying your spring, soon to be summer, if you're in this part of the world, and that if not, you're not too cold or whatever. I hope you're just right, just like Goldilocks. And remember how absolutely cool and special each and every one of you are. You don't have to work at it. You don't have to, you know, get fancy or have a lot of followers or be, you know, like the other person, to be as good as you are, to be as special as you already are naturally. La, la, la. I will see you next time. Love you. Bye.